always something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
And welcome to it on a beautiful day. It's Friday, of course, and who's fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom? We are. I am every single day. Who do you want in your foxhole? That's the question. Three big things this hour. Number one, Florida filing a federal lawsuit against California and Washington for giving illegal aliens commercial driver's licenses and operating 18-wheelers, 80,000-pound missiles on American roadways, even though they can't speak English. Number two, there are now 10,000 military personnel working on counter-narcotic operations in the Caribbean to stop illegal drug shipments, the effort only intensifying. And number three, former National Security Advisor John Bolton indicted Thursday 18 counts under the Espionage Act, after he was accused of sending classified information to his wife and daughter and keeping 1,000 pages or more of classified information he was not entitled to and should not have had in his possession. He apparently wanted to use those documents for his own personal ambitions, maybe more, sharing them with others. It's very serious, by the way. Those on the left can scream all they want, but my bet is clear. John Bolton's going to prison for breaking the laws that protect our nation's national security. Here's what was said in the Oval Office, by the way. Listen.
President John Bolton was just indicted by a grand jury in Maryland. Do you have a reaction to that?
I didn't know that. You tell me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person. I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy. It's too bad, but it's the way it goes.
All right, there it is. He's a bad guy, says the president. This is Free Speech, Free for All Friday. That means it's your chance to weigh in on all of it, whatever you want to weigh in on. It's powered by Patriot Mobile, the Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966, 877-310-9966. If you don't have Patriot Mobile, I ask you why not. Best wireless company there is. Best wireless company there is, and they believe in things you believe in. 877-310-9966. Let's roll. Sharon starts us off in North Carolina today. Sharon, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Steve?
I'm good. What's on your mind?
So you talk frequently about people doing small businesses or doing businesses without a degree.
Yeah.
So I have had a wedding cake business for about 15, 18 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And at one point, I totaled up my sales for 10 years, including the years of COVID, and it was over $500,000. So I just wanted to say, as a baker, you can do a lot from your home and not have a lot of expenses and overhead. And
you got in North Carolina, what are the rules? I mean, states vary. If you're making something in a home kitchen,
Sure.
The rules vary state to state, right?
Yes, they do. When you go for a business license, the first thing they ask you is, do you have pets? And if you say yes, then you can't go any further. But other than that, I don't have health inspections or anything.
I like the fact that you can make it happen, Sharon. You roll up your sleeve. You did a very American thing. You worked for yourself, which is a wonderful thing. I think there are a lot of opportunities out there, and I appreciate the phone call, Sharon. Thank you very much. Thank you for being, a person that people can look up to, an example of what can be done. Here's the thing, by the way. If you're looking for business advice, quick transition here, Gruber10x.com. It's a free call. If your business is needing a growth or you feel like it's blocked, Gruber10x.com. It's a free phone call with the people at Cardone. Normally it'd be $500. Today it's free. If you got a business, a small business, there it is. Nice segue. Thank you, Sharon, for that. Let's go to Greg. He is in Indiana. Greg, how are you today?
Good morning, Steve. I listened to the show, and my boss walks in and tells me that you need to turn that hate speech off and quit watching Fox. I said, I'm not watching Fox. I'm watching Rav.
Yeah. Can you turn the TV down in the background? Here's my question. He thinks I'm hate speech. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't talk hate speech here. We talk about real issues, as you know. Send your boss on over. I'll have a conversation with him. Come on, dude. It's free speech. It's America. We just talk about real things. Did you tell him you're just going to continue watching?
He didn't know what rap was.
Yeah, well, but he thought Fox News was hate speech. I mean, people are silly.
Yeah.
Keep the faith, Greg, and we'll keep telling the truth. We appreciate your phone call. Thank you very much. This is hate speech, eh? Well, that's when people don't want to hear the truth. They just label it as racist, hate speech. No. Come on, stop it. I'm just a guy next door. Do I have a different opinion than some people? Yes, I do. Is it hate speech? No. What's hate speech? I believe in two genders. I think abortion at a certain point is wrong. I think it's wrong all the time, but I think we can make it somewhere. You've got to make it. You can have abortion up to the moment of birth. Is that wrong? It's not hate speech. By the way, let's go to Tom now in Michigan. Tom, how are you?
Great show, Steve. I wanted to say, the PBS National Public Radio is just driving me crazy. They are so upsetting to listen to. And then these guys are out here marching every Monday, and I guess they're going to be out here on Saturday, out here in Waterford.
Yeah. Well, are you sure they could be at the No King's Day protest? You know, all these big No King's Day protests.
It is for Saturday, I think.
Yeah. You know, could you point this out to them? Point this out to them. If we really had a king, you wouldn't be allowed to have a No King's protest. You see, that's how that works. These people.
Yeah, they get so mad because I come out there with my Trump hat and the Trump flag and a Trump sign, and they all come up and start yelling at me and
that's what you should do.
Get me to fight them.
Just wave back, smile, and say, "He's your president. He's your president. Thanks for he's your president. Thanks for starting." Nice work, Tom. Really appreciate it. Let's see. We're going to cross over to Ed in Indiana. We got two folks from Indiana so far.
Good morning, Steve.
How are you?
I want to talk about China and our soybeans there.
All right.
You know, I looked up soybeans as far as burning it. It says they burn dirty. It kind of described it like the old fuel oil furnace.
Okay.
And that, but I'm thinking if it was burnt in a power generating system at the higher heat, you could get it to burn clean. And if China don't want to buy our soybeans, maybe we could get rid of some of them by using it in the power plants.
Well, I don't think that's going to work because the power plants aren't designed to take soybeans. However, Ed, I think that you're going to find a solution.
I mean, you could mix a percentage of it in, you know, and feed it in, and
I'm
that
thinking
way
nuclear is a better way, Ed. I appreciate the innovative conversation. I do. We'll leave it there for now. The thing is, Trump and Xi are going to meet in South Korea. I'm going to see if we can get something settled. I'm going to guess we probably can. Still to come, we've got a lot of folks on the line jammed up, but you can get into 877-310-9966. What's on your mind? Drug runners in the Caribbean? The end of the war in Gaza? John Bolton getting indicted? Or the fact that on No King's Day, you couldn't really do that if you had a king? Yeah, they wouldn't allow that. See if they're really a king. Got it. All right, back at it now as we continue to keep the phone lines hot. 877-310-9966. That is the Patriot Mobile Common Sense hotline on this free-for-all Friday. Keep it clean. If you've called sometime in the last month, let somebody through, if you would, please. Let's go to Jack in Toledo. He calls from time to time to give us updates on what's happening in the world. Jack, how are you?
Doing well, Steve. And you?
I'm doing well, thank you. What's on your mind?
Hey, the big shutdown is what's really on my mind. We need the president to call the House back into session and have them start passing appropriation bills. We need to get the spending in order. We can wait for this extension to happen, but all it is doing is extending the spending for the past fiscal year. We need something now for the new fiscal year. Put it to bed. Make sure we're not doing this again next fall, right before the midterms.
No, we probably will
going.
Be.
We always do, because
Yeah.
they're like college students. If something's due on the 30th of September, they're working until midnight on the 30th. And then they ask for an extension because they didn't have enough time.
You got that
But
right.
Mike Johnson said that he was going to do no more continuing resolutions. This is one big continuing resolution month after month. It's time for Johnson
For real work,
to get
yeah. Jack,
everyone back
I don't
together.
disagree with you. I think you're right on that. There are 12 appropriations bills. They need to do what they said they were going to do. Of course, the Democrats are obstructionists no matter where you go. Look, the government doesn't need to be shut down right now. We know that. The Democrats are blocking it. Jack, you got to run. You're exactly right, though. Thank you. Yeah. Gold still on a rocket ride, 43.40 and climbing, $340 in 2 days it's up. Let's go to, I just keep watching it. Lisa in South Carolina, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Steve?
I'm good, thank you very much. What's on your mind?
I have a concern that I just have a concern that I want to voice. I live in South Carolina, but my sister lives in Michigan. She lives in Lansing. I have a niece who lives in Dearborn, Michigan, and there's some things going on there. There's a lot of Muslims that are there. I guess that's a collective place for them. There's like over 40,000 is what I heard a report.
That's correct.
Some videos. So I've seen some videos also of them getting up and to all hours of the night and having their prayer. I mean, this is
5:30 in the morning.
But
the call to prayer happens 5 times a day. It starts at 5:30 in the morning on loudspeakers, but it's been doing that since 1979. But they're in violation of the noise ordinances and so forth. Nobody seems to care. Then the mayor of Dearborn told a Christian pastor he was not welcome in the city. That just happened. By the way, if you want to stay up on all of this, what's happening in Dearborn, MichiganNewsSource.com. Michigan, you should tell your sister too. MichiganNewsSource.com. A lot of great stories about what's going on in Dearborn, so you can stay on top of it, Lisa. I'm going to be going down there. We just got to pick a day. Go ahead.
My niece is very concerned. They're even thinking about putting the house on the market and moving because they just feel like they're in another country now. And I mean, I just want to know if things get out of hand, which they're afraid they will. Is Trump going to go there and try to put some kind of law and order? Because I know what kind of governor they have there. And
I live here.
Yeah,
Trust me, I'm in Michigan. The studio you're looking at right now is in Michigan. I fully understand, Lisa. Thank you for the phone call. And we're going to go down there. We just got to pick a day where we've got some time to go talk to folks down there, visit, and see what they have to say. George in Georgia, you're next. How are you?
Hey, bud. I've never missed an episode of anything on RAC, and I love
Great.
your show.
Great, thank you.
I'm concerned about if they got they said they had thousands of protests tomorrow in 1,000 different places. Now, if they can do that, they can attack us from within, and everybody else can attack us from without. That's very concerning to me. If they got that many people out there on the street.
You mean for the No Kings protest? We'll see.
Yeah.
I remember the big protest before Trump was inaugurated. Remember the pink hats? The pink pea hats?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can actually say the word on the air. Yeah. So what? I think the pink pea hats fit them. They're apropos. They make sense. They should still be wearing those hats because that would describe them perfectly. Anyhow, crybabies they are. Look, elections have consequences. looking out for the working man and doing the right things has people coming to download. It's why the Teamsters Union president says his people are coming over lock, stock, and barrel to President Trump. Not going to the Democrats anymore. The Democrats are the party of, men and women's sports, open borders, violence against police, supporting criminals. Come on. What does the Democrat Party stand for in 2025? Tolerating Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib to say hateful things, anti-Semitic things without any retribution, without any pushback. The only thing the Democrat Party has is hatred for Donald Trump. That's it. That's the end of their agenda. After that, they don't care. And Chuck Schumer, he's scared to death of the radical left. That's why he's doing what he's doing. Because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a front runner. If she doesn't want to be president, she can take his seat in a heartbeat. Let me go to Joe in South Carolina. Joe, how are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. Number one, I'd like to thank you and Ivy for having a great show.
Thank you.
And talking me into switching to Patriot Mobile.
Hey, there you go. There's an endorsement, everybody. Did you hear it? You got Joe in South Carolina. Patriot Mobile works great, doesn't it?
It's amazing. But since I was born in the 50s, and I heard you the last time you were on the show talking about how you love Michigan, and
I do.
Those other guests talked about how they love Michigan. My father was born and raised in the little Irish hills of Caledonia.
Yeah.
I live in the South now.
Yeah. Irish Hills, beautiful
instead
place.
of a no kings protest. Oh, and by the way, when he cut his arm when I was a young man, it bled maize and blue.
Well, there it is. I got to leave it there, Joe, excuse me, because I got to hit a break here. But I appreciate the phone call. I'm glad it's maize and blue. None of that scarlet and gray nonsense. Anyhow, it's Free Speech, Free for All Friday. More calls after this. All right, we're going to dive right back into it. So your cousin bought gas for $2.60 a gallon. I mean, gas is coming down. Anthony just told me $2.60 a gallon.
$2.60. I saw it here on my way to work.
Yeah.
$2.79.
Yeah,
I saw it at $2.58, guys.
Really?
Whoa. See, Steve, every time, and I've been kind of on the side of some people, every time you talk about gas and you say it's cheaper, I'm like, I don't really see it. But
you do see it.
I'm starting to see it.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Marianne in Delaware, how are you today?
Hi, Steve. Good show.
Thank you.
Steve, I was calling because last night when I was watching the 5 o'clock, last evening, Steve Bannon show, but Natalie Winters was the host, and she was interviewing the girl who reports from the World Organization, and she said that the countries are taking a vote, either, I don't know, soon anyway, about charging ships. Like the countries are going to vote to charge emissions that come from the ships because of the emissions that are going into the ocean.
You mean Green New Deal stuff?
Well, they didn't mention green, and they didn't. That's the type of thing, yes.
But who's going to charge them?
The World Organization, the UN. The UN is part of it.
I got you.
They did mention UN.
I don't think we'll
yeah.
be paying that any more than we're paying to go through the Panama Canal. I think there's this guy by the name of Donald Trump who's going to say, "Yeah, not on my watch." Just a guess. Yeah.
Well, that was kind of my question because they made it sound, well, I understood it to be that if they vote that they are going to do it, they're going to vote that they're going to charge our ships, and whether we were the ones who voted for it or voted against
No.
we would have to pay or else go to the World Court or whatever.
We don't. We don't recognize the International
puzzles me.
Court. We do not recognize. That's why, by the way, I got to run. But that's why when Mamdani says he'll arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, the United States does not recognize the International Criminal Court. We don't recognize a lot of this other nonsense. Don't worry. I'm going to place my faith in Donald Trump telling anybody who says we have to pay basically a tax for American ships. He'll just say, no, I don't think so. What are you going to do about it? That's what I think. And we're not going to pay to go through the Panama Canal. I'll have more calls on this Free for All Friday in just a moment. Go ape, which is what it's doing. It's out of control. Should have spent $5,000 on gold, not on that stupid buoy thing. All right, back to it now. Gold, it's just unbelievable. It's up $50 already today.
So I have a question real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I keep seeing people talking about something that happened to gold in, was it 71?
Yeah, Nixon took us off the gold standard, meaning the dollars in your pocket aren't worth doodly squat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why the money in your pocket is worthless and gold is not. Anyhow, and not worthless, but There's nothing backing it up. Let's go to Matt in Phoenix, Arizona. Matt, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Steve. Huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
On the Real Voice of America. I usually DVR because it's a little early here in Phoenix.
It is a little early.
But
yeah,
I
we were there for
make...
we were there for Charlie Kirk's memorial. What a wonderful event. We were just down there. Ivy and I were there, front row. Front row as far as the media rise. We had a remarkable event. Anyhow, go ahead.
Yes, I was there in the parking lot. I wasn't able to get in, and I live only 5 minutes away.
It was a crazy day.
My comment is that they really need to crack down, Trump, states, on this BLM, Antifa, and really curb the lawlessness, because I had to go downtown on business, and I actually saw it firsthand, because where I live, there's none of that.
What did you see firsthand?
There's just too much going on.
What did you see firsthand? What was it you saw?
I just saw a bunch of people dressed alike in black masks, all in black, with the same signs, and it was downtown. And they were kind of like just meandering around on the intersection near Central Ave. And it was just like, and the cops were there. There was like 5 cops, and they're just like watching them. And they blocked the intersection. It was a 4-way.
Blocking traffic, I mean, that's a crime. You can't do that. But it's whether or not I don't know who the mayor of Phoenix is or anything about that. It's a crime to do that.
He's a Democrat.
Of course. It's a crime to do that. You have to enforce the laws, hold people accountable. I mean, seriously, stop the disruptions for people that just want to go to work, take their kid to daycare, drop their kid off at school, go pick up some groceries, get to the hospital, whatever it is. Stop allowing this chaos. That's my advice. Matt, I really appreciate you watching. Phoenix, great city, by the way, as long as they enforce the laws. That would be my advice. In the free state of Florida, we find Michelle today. Michelle, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Steve?
I'm lovely. Thank you for asking. What's on your mind?
Oh, by the way, I'm talking to you in an elevator at work.
Really?
Isn't that amazing?
You're hiding?
Yeah. No, I'm not hiding. I just had to come down I work in a grocery store.
Very nice. All right. What's up?
My comment is on the king, no king.
Yeah.
Isn't, the King of England, what's he doing? Right? I mean, if they had power, then, would England be like what's going on over there?
The King of England, King Charles. What is he doing? Kissing up to the invasion, doing nothing about freedom of speech, allowing people to be arrested at 3 a.m. for posting on Facebook something that might have offended somebody. That's what they're doing in England. We can't let that happen here.
But that's what I'm saying. If kings made had a big impact on how our country's run, then Donald Trump's in deep trouble because.
Let me explain it again for you.
Well,
let me explain it for you, Michelle, and we'll leave it here.
Okay.
A no king's protest. If there were actually a king in America, they would not allow a no king's protest. That's how kings work. They're dictators.
Yeah.
There is no dictator in America. These are shrill people. There's a bunch of old, wrinkled up white people. They got out of the old folks' home to stumble out on the street and complain because their 1960s hippie movement kind of faded away. They're reliving their glory days by way of no king's protest. It's such nonsense. Anyhow, if there were a king here, there wouldn't be a no king's protest. End of discussion. And I tell them thank you for playing. And you too, Michelle. Thank you for calling. Steve is in West Virginia. He'll be at the no king's protest. No, he won't. Steve, how are you?
Good morning, Steve. God bless you, Ivy, and your crew.
Thank you.
I'm doing well.
Thank you. What's on your mind?
I had a kind of a question.
All right.
With this shutdown that's going on and their refusal to pay the military, basically holding the country hostage, wouldn't it be a good idea to implement we yank their security funding to get them back to the table?
Yank whose security funding? The security for Congress and members of the Senate and so forth?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, they're getting paid.
Well, of course they are.
Why isn't the country's protection being paid?
That's a good question, though. Is Congress being... Can we check on that, Anthony? Are they being paid? I need to know an answer to that. Because if they are, that's wrong. And the second thing is this. Look, it's about this health care thing. Bull. The health care you got 10 weeks to negotiate that. And what you're doing is you're losing the opportunity to negotiate that at all. Chuck Schumer is losing here. The people, they've voted 10 times now, 10 times against reopening the government. The Democrats have 10 times. Don't be fooled. And while they're
a bunch
voting,
of little babies. It's like they're not getting away and they don't want to do their job.
Bingo.
They should be fired, in my opinion.
Bingo. You got it. Good call, Steve-O. West Virginia common sense going through. Let's see. Carolyn is in Ohio. Carolyn, how are you?
I'm okay. I love your show and all the other people that does what you're doing. I love them.
Well, I appreciate that. We do. We work really hard for you. We don't get paid a lot, but we work really hard. People go, you're on TV, you're rich. Okay. Well, not exactly. Anyhow, Carolyn, what's on your mind?
What about using all this illegal drugs that we got compensated to pay the military?
What?
What about taking all these illegal drug money and paying the military?
The money. I thought okay, you got me. You got me. Let's go sell illegal drugs and pay the military. That's what I got out of. My fault. My bad. All right, I got it. Just take the money we confiscate. I got it. I'm back. I'm back with you, Carolyn.
The money to be confiscated.
That was a 95-mile-an-hour curveball for me, but I got it. All right, thank you. You know, it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Money that's confiscated from criminals, sure. That goes into the coffers here of the United States. Look, they're trying to find a workaround to get the military paid. I hope they do. I hope everybody gets paid. Look, I don't want anybody to lose their job, but the fact of the matter is the government of the United States of America is far too big. We need to scale back. For years and years, they've packed in with these unions. Even Franklin Roosevelt said public sector unions, terrible idea, because they're playing money. They're playing negotiations with your money. Hey, if you pay us, we'll turn our union out to vote for you, Governor, to vote for you, Senator. It's wrong because then those governors, those senators, even presidents, will favorably treat these unions after they've bought the votes. I appreciate the call, Carolyn. Thank you very much. Do not sell drugs, kids. Do not sell drugs. Anthony. All right, Cheryl in Kansas. How are you today?
Are you there?
I'm there, Cheryl. You're there. You're on. What's on your mind?
Okay. Why isn't John Bolton getting charged with treason?
He's charged with violating the Espionage Act. This is serious. He could spend the rest of his life in prison. The way I understand this is serious stuff. This is not. It's a 26-page indictment. It's 18 charges. It's real. And he apparently communicated classified information, I understand, to his daughter and to his wife, among others. He had more than 1,000 pages of documents he was not entitled to have in his possession or keep, and he was using those for personal gain, to share with other people, to write books, do things like that. He is in real trouble here. The treason thing, it's very narrow in the Constitution. In fact, I'll read it for folks here a little bit later. The treason thing in the Constitution here, very narrow, but he is in real trouble. I'll take a break and be back. I'm going to get to all your calls. I do have to talk to somebody about keeping you safe after the break, and then I'll get back to your calls for the next 2.5 hours. We'll take calls here on Free for All Friday. Welcome back to the program. Let me share a story with you because this is important. Sometimes the people you trust the most are the ones that rip you off the worst. I'm not kidding you. And here I want you to hear this story from West Dallas about a church being stolen by another minister. Wow, listen.
For Pastor Corey Maxey, it wasn't just about fraud on paper. It was about losing a place of worship.
I didn't understand how the law did not help us out when we had documentations of who I am and all of that.
And the fraud done by someone who called himself a pastor.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Joining me now, Natalie Dominguez, title theft education specialist for Home Title Lock. Natalie, nice to have you back on the program. So here I am looking at an unbelievable story. Those that you should be able to trust the most, pulling a dirty deed like this. It literally was one congregation moved out so they could do some improvements on the building. Another congregation moves in fraudulently, refuses to leave, and the system is like, can't help you. It's crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the worst part here, it's not just that they moved in and they refused to move or the law couldn't do anything. It's that in this case, the other pastor had gone in and actually filed fraudulent paperwork with the county that put the church in his or the congregation's name. The report unfortunately doesn't say. But what this means is that when this was reported to the police and when this was brought to court to evict them, on record, they had ownership of the church.
Right.
So there was literally nothing they could do.
And for Corey Maxey here, the guy we just saw in that news clip, it was his grandfather's church, founded by his grandfather in the family for all of these years. And it gets stolen out from under him by this pastor, Whitney Foster, who claimed ownership, as we just talked about. And then he just moved his whole crew in. What do you do at that point?
I mean, at that point, if you don't have some sort of, safety net or backup plan, the only thing that you can do is hire a lawyer and try to get the process of proving that it's fraud started. Unfortunately, not a lot of people know where to start in one sense, and then in the other sense, and in the case of the pastor here, Pastor Maxey, he didn't have the funds for a long legal battle. So they kind of did what they could to try to get them evicted, but didn't have the resources to be able to take this to court and get this reversed all the way through.
Basically, what happened is he lost his grandfather's church through no fault of his own. It's not like they were foreclosed on. It was not like they were behind on payments. Nothing like that. He got robbed. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. He was robbed, and then his congregation scattered to the wind, didn't they?
Yep. And the unfortunate part about this situation is they actually found out that Foster had done this to 3 other churches and somehow had gotten him, the report unfortunately doesn't say, we've been researching a little bit more, but somehow had been convicted of stealing 3 other churches. And this is the craziest part to me is that although this person is now serving I think it's a 24-year sentence for doing this to 3 other churches, the original pastor, Pastor Maxey, has not been able to get the church back in his name. He and his congregation are still out of the church, and the church is still in this guy's name that's in jail. Yep. As far as we know, yes, when this report came out.
So 8 years later, if I'm doing the math right here, 8 years later, this Foster is in prison for a few decades, and they still can't get their building back. How is that even possible?
As far as the reports show, it just means that they didn't have the resources to take it to court. And because they didn't have the resources to do it themselves, the law isn't really on their side. In a lot of cases, this is a civil matter, so it's completely separate from any potential criminal proceedings that are going on. So even though this man is in jail, it doesn't automatically reverse the process.
And here's another part of the story. Natalie, and I want to get to this. That church building that you just mentioned, sitting there, dilapidated now, run down, but it's on really valuable land. And you know how this works. Then the other serpents come in and circle around because they want to develop that land. I don't know if he'll ever get it back.
I mean, hypothetically, if from what we know, the church is still in the guy's name that's in prison, I mean, he could technically sell it from prison if I'm correct on that, if it's still in his name. So unfortunately, because this hasn't been reversed or taken out of the criminal's name, he still has access to the property. So this is why it's very important. Time is of the essence to just get started and get on that process. And the scary thing here for a lot of people, when we talk about these things with you, we usually talk about homeowners, vacant land, but really it's any property in America that has a parcel number. So this can happen to churches, it can happen to apartment buildings, it can happen to vacant land, it can happen to an Airbnb or your elderly grandma's house. This story, the reason why we wanted to highlight this with you is just because, yeah, you think it's not going to happen to you, but it can literally happen to anyone. And
any
anything.
property with value. I mean, that's what you're telling me.
Yes.
Any property that has equity and value can be transferred. Maxie's story, by the way, one of several high-profile cases in Texas that pushed state lawmakers to pass Senate Bill 16, a new law that makes real property theft a crime. So we're making progress here, but that's just one place and that's just one bill. This goes on far too often to far too many people. So when you say it can happen to anyone, it can, but you can protect yourself, can't you?
Absolutely. So we as a company do something very different. There are a couple other companies out there that claim to monitor, but as we talk about all the time, monitoring is not enough. This is a legal loophole, in the system where anyone can do this at any time. So unless lawmakers are putting things in place at the start, criminalizing afterwards really still does nothing for anyone but the government, right? And putting these people in jail doesn't do anything for the homeowner. So what we do is we're 24/7 monitoring, urgent alerts, and then the most important part is restoration. This is something that only we do. And that means that we're going to spend up to $1 million. And as long as it takes, whether it's months or even years, which does happen all the time, to get this reversed at no cost to the homeowner.
Which is key.
So our restoration is the most important part.
You know, you can check in your home's title right now. Make sure you're not a victim already. Use the promo code Gruber at HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com. Make sure your title still in your name. You'll also get a free title history report plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud does happen, like she said, up to $1 million to fix it. Natalie, greatly appreciate you being here. What a story. What a story.
Thanks, Steve. We're so glad that you're covering these things.
All right. We'll talk again soon. Again, go to HomeTitleLock.com. Use the promo code Gruber, and you'll be able to protect yourself. You'll sleep well tonight knowing it's still your home or business or even a church. I'll be right back. All right, let's continue on now with Free for All Friday. Glad you're here. The Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966. We do it every Friday so you, America, can weigh in any topic you want. Let's go to Denise. She's in Missouri today. Denise, how are you?
I'm fine, Steve. Thank you for all you do for America. Love your show.
Thank you.
I seen something yesterday in my small town, the northwest corner of Missouri. We're very remote out here. This is a farming area. And my little town of Trenton, Missouri, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people. I seen a Border Patrol vehicle yesterday, which I've never seen in this area. I've lived in New Mexico. We see them all the time down there. But up here in the Midwest, we don't see them that often. But anyway, I seen it. I drove through town. I thought I'd come back and see what the license plates were on it. It wasn't Border Patrol. It's a vehicle painted like Border Patrol, an SUV, white, with a green stripe. But it is Thought Patrol, T-H-O-T, Patrol. Have you heard of this before?
What? Say the letters again.
It's Thought Patrol. It has it has like a presidential seal on it, but it's Thought Patrol, T-H-O-T.
I'm going to have to look that one up. Okay, here's what we need to
this.
Here's what you need to do. I need to get it. Can you get a picture of this vehicle?
I can send you a picture if you give me a number.
Yeah.
I got a picture of it, yes.
Yeah, all right. Stay on the line. Anthony's going to give you a place where you can text
Okay.
the picture, all right? We want to see this.
Okay.
And then we'll do the research. I really appreciate the call. This is the kind of stuff we need from you folks out there. You guys are out there, in this case, Northwest Missouri, wherever. We need to know. I mean, is somebody playing a game? Is it something real? T-H-O-T, I don't have any idea what that is.
I think it's a meme. I think it's a...
Well, she said she took a picture of the vehicle.
Thought, T-H-O-T, is basically another word for, like, girls who are, like...
So it's fake? It looks like Border Patrol, but it's... All right, we're going to dig into it, Denise. Thank you for the call. More calls from you. Shelly, Teresa, we got a lot of ladies lined up today. Don't go anywhere, ladies. We got 2 more hours of Free Speech, Free for All Friday here on the Steve Gruber Show. We'll have it for you after the break. something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent. Come on, man. We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
Well, it sure is, and it's a free speech, free-for-all Friday. Glad to have you here. Here are three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, President Trump has unveiled an idea of a grand entrance to the nation's capital in the latest effort to turn Washington, D.C. into a world-class city, as it should be. We'll talk about it. Number two, the indictment by a grand jury of former National Security Advisor John Bolton on 18 counts of violating the Espionage Act has the left with its hair on fire, but Bolton, he's going to prison. Bank on it. And number three, President Trump is going to have a very busy rest of the month, not only meeting with dictator Xi, but now he's announced a plan to meet with Vladimir Putin and yet another attempt to find peace in Ukraine. It is Free Speech, Free for All Friday. That means it is your chance to get on the phone and share your thoughts, whatever you want to get in on. Powered by the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966. No Kings protest this weekend. What kind of people will you meet and greet at the No Kings protest if you decide to go? Well, here's a sample.
I don't want to be a violent person, but in this case, I feel like that we just need to, I hate to say the word, but assassinate him.
What was your reaction this July when the assassin almost got Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania?
I was happy.
Happy that he missed or happy that it happened?
No, happy that it happened. And too bad that it wasn't in the head.
Happy that it happened.
What was your reaction in July when an assassin came an inch away from ending Trump?
Disappointment that they didn't follow through.
Okay, enough. These people are openly calling for the assassination of Donald Trump. That's who you'll meet at the No Kings protest. Nice folks like that. Let's go back to the phone lines. Teresa in North Carolina, welcome to the program.
Nope, Shelley's first. Shelley.
I'm sorry, Shelley in Virginia. Golly, thank you, Brock, for protecting Shelley. Shelley, how are you?
Oh, great this morning, Steve. But do you have a quick correction? The name is Shelby, like the Mustang.
Yeah.
But love your show. Watch it every chance I get.
Thank you.
If I miss something that I hear about later on another show on there on RAV, I go to YouTube and look you up because I respect your opinions. I respect what you say. But quick. I'm in Virginia.
Okay.
We're in trouble.
Yeah, what's the
because
question?
We've still got one of those crazies on the ballot.
Oh, I know.
We need help. I don't know how to ask anybody for help at this short time, but maybe prayer.
Maybe. You know, I'm praying for Virginia. I think that your attorney general candidate is insane, obviously, Jay Jones. Is that
right?
Right. Yeah. He's just like I played those folks. Just like I played those folks that want, just like I just played those sound bites of those people that want to think it'd be okay to assassinate Donald Trump. He's the same way. Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. I'm absolutely terrified. Honestly, 24 was my first voting ever in my life.
Really?
I tried to vote in 20 and I couldn't. We were military and I didn't live here and the woman wouldn't let me vote even though I was registered. So 24 was my first, but now I'm addicted to this.
Yeah. Well, good. You vote. Here's what you do. You get 10 friends that haven't voted. Military, whatever. You find 10 people and you've made a difference. Just 10. You can do that. You got enough friends and people you know from church or from work or from social groups. Find 10. You can do this, Shelley. All right, let's go to Teresa now in North Carolina. Teresa, how are you?
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. What's on your mind?
Okay, hon. It's about the government shutdown and the illegals not free health care for them. There needs to be some type of system where they have to pay the government back, and also the government needs to find out what country these people are from, and they can take their aid back from that country that we're paying for these people.
That's not a bad idea.
And also, and my other thought is about with the government shutdown is my grandson is in the military. He's having to switch duty stations in December, and he will need some money to find a new place to live.
Yes, they
because
will.
the government will not pay.
Chuck Schumer, open the government.
He's going to be stuck.
Yeah. Teresa, greatly appreciate the call.
I mean, I'm really concerned because he's having to move from Oregon all the way to South Carolina, and the military is going to ship his furniture, but that won't even be able to be done.
Right. And no, we've got to get this taken care of. I appreciate the phone call. We've got to get this taken care of. Chuck Schumer, 10 times the Democrats have voted not to open the government, 10 times on a clean continuing resolution. Now, I agree with the earlier callers. We got to get away from this continuing resolution nonsense. But here we are. We need to get it figured out. We need to get it handled. Good luck to your grandson, by the way. Rick, you're in Kentucky. How are you today?
Yes. Thanks for the opportunity.
Say again?
I said thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Absolutely. What's on your mind?
Do you remember David Brinkley?
I do.
During the broadcast of the presidential election, Clinton's first term, David Brinkley didn't realize that he was being broadcast calling Clinton a clown. He made this statement, not realizing that
the mic was hot.
The whole world could hear his opinion.
Yeah, the mic was hot.
He immediately resigned. He
I don't remember that. I have to look that up. I got to go back and look.
He had violated his own standard.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. I appreciate the phone call. I'm going to go back and check on that, Rick. I don't remember that, and usually I'm pretty good about those things. I'm going to look it up, though. But today, wouldn't you have taken Bill Clinton 100 times to none over Joe Biden? 100 times to none compared to what we ended up with Joe Biden, or with Barack Obama, for that matter. I would have taken Bill Clinton 100 times over Barack Obama. Sandra in North Carolina, how are you today?
I'm really good today. Hope you're doing well, Steve.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, ma'am.
I saw the banner across the screen this morning. It said, "Revenge or justice for John Bolton." And I don't know if revenge would even be in the play. I don't know what other people. To me, that's an opinion. As far as justice goes, I'm all for justice, and I think it's wonderful that they started out with the Republican as a demonstration of what's right, what's wrong, and the whole thing about it is he should be on the hot seat and serve to the full extent of the law. Because
Amen.
Our safety of our country, it should be a number one priority for all these bureaucrats.
I agree, and thank you for the phone call. I got to hit a break.
That's just my point. I saw that banner across there this morning, and I wanted to comment on that.
Well, I thank you for that. I thank you for that. By the way, if you want to keep up on other information every day, Anthony's got a QR code for me. It's so exciting. Anthony created a QR code for me, and all you do is look at the screen with your phone, click on it, boop, takes you right to stevegruber.com. How do you beat that? He's going to show it off after the break, all right? We'll be right back. All right, we will continue with your phone calls all morning around the edges. We're going to have a couple of guests along the way as well, because this next guest has an important topic to discuss, and that is the Supreme Court case when it comes to congressional districts being based on race. It's being heard by the Supreme Court, and you might have heard Katanya Brown Jackson, the Supreme Court justice, saying, well, you know, black people are basically handicapped. They can't get driver's license and so forth. How insulting is that, by the way? They're disabled, I guess the word she used. Disabled. Come on. Do they not have cell phones? Driver's licenses? Come on. Kaylin Phillips, Senior Counsel at the Public Interest Legal Foundation, joining me now. Kaylin, nice to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
So are people, anybody that's not white, are they disabled in America when it comes to voting?
No. And no. And our Constitution prohibits using race as a mean of discrimination. It's very clear under the 15th Amendment. It's not what we're supposed to be doing.
So this case is a big deal. It's not Louisiana, but it would impact states around America. For example, Alabama was forced to create a congressional district here recently based solely on race. Louisiana has two based solely on race. In fact, if you go across the country, my understanding is it would be at least 12 seats that would likely become Republican seats because they've been gerrymandered based on race. So if you take that plus 12, you have to add the 5 that are likely in Texas, plus 1 in Indiana, 1 in Missouri, 1 in North Carolina, all of a sudden you've got 15 or 20 seats across this country that would become Republican seats that have been gerrymandered by the Democrats in basically illegal gerrymandering, right?
Well, the biggest point is that we had a bloody civil war to avoid using race as a means of choosing things like this, using race as the mechanism by which we redistrict redistrict locations. So, and here in Louisiana, you have direct evidence from the people that drew the map that they were taking race into account. And that's exactly what the 15th Amendment was designed to prohibit.
Absolutely true. And so I think it's pretty clear. The Supreme Court already ruled on a similar case not long ago. I think that it's pretty clear that they're going to rule at least 6-3. I mean, Justice Jackson, she's out of her mind. I mean, she doesn't even understand the law half the time. She is in so far over her head. I mean, the things that she has said and the way she has been berated in decisions by her colleagues, something I've never seen in my lifetime. She's just in way over her head, and she's wrong about this. And so the Supreme Court, when it rules, I think is extremely accurate. You cannot decide admissions to college. You cannot decide congressional districts. You cannot do these things based on race. Now, if you want to go in and say, look, here's a zip code where people are not doing as well financially, okay, use a zip code. All right, you want to do it that way? Fine. If you want more representation from the inner city, use zip codes, not race. It shouldn't even be a question, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. And this case involves some complicated tests based upon Supreme Court jurisprudence from years beyond. But it's pretty simple. The Public Interest Legal Foundation filed an amicus brief that said that this is a simple issue. They used race. That's prohibited by the 15th Amendment. They were very explicit. There's statements in our brief of, specific statements of racial intent. And that's simple. It's not complicated. That's prohibited by the 15th Amendment.
And so what's your guess? Last question. What's your guess? Are they going to vote 6-3 and get rid of this? Because if they do, and if it doesn't come out, it could come out this year, but it's not likely, more likely June of next year. Will the states scramble to redo their districts in places like Louisiana and Alabama?
Well, I hope that there is a clear end to the saga, whatever it is. It's impossible to predict, but I mean, this case has been going on for years. This is the second hearing on this case. That's very unusual. They heard this case in March and then set it for re-argument just a few days ago. And that's not usual. So I hope we do have a concise ending to this case so people have guidance going forward.
We'll see what happens. Caitlin, greatly appreciate it. It's a very important case for the future of this country. Thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to continue with Free for All Friday now. Brock, I assume we still have Pete on the line from Tennessee.
Nope, Pete's gone. Margie in Ohio.
All right, Pete. Sorry about that, buddy. Margie in Ohio. Margie, how are you today?
Good morning. Hi, Steve.
How are you? You good, Margie?
Are you there?
I can hear you fine. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, I have an opinion about the staff of the Congress people and representatives. Why do we pay for such a large staff? They need to do some of their work themselves instead of having time to go out and commit crimes. They need to be doing their work that we elected them to do. If they didn't have such a large staff that we're paying for, they would have to do their own work.
Wouldn't that be something? They'd have to do their own work, like you and I have to do our own work, wouldn't it? I mean, it's quite a concept, which I appreciate, by the way, which I appreciate. All right, thank you for the phone call. We will continue to take calls here throughout the day. Free speech, Free for All Friday. I've still got Randy and Leo and others on the way. Are you struggling to kickstart your brain in the morning? Do you feel like you're a little loggy when you get started? Well, Brain Reward gives your brain refreshing support with tyrosine, B-complex vitamins, nutrients that help regulate stress and focus. Perfect for school, work, and creative project. Boost your mood, your clarity, your motivation, all without caffeine jitters. This is another one of the great products from Victory Nutrition International. We have just found this company. Ivy did all the homework. This company has done so much research into their products. They only have 6. They don't have 10,000 products. They have 6. It's nutrition that gets in. And these are the best vitamins, the best supplements that we have found. Get 20% off now at vni.life/Gruber. vni.life/Gruber. The promo code is Gruber, all right? Victory Nutrition International. You're going to be glad you tried these products. Trust me on this. I'll be right back. All right, let's get right back to it. Randy is on the line in Delaware on this Free Speech, Free for All Friday. Randy, how are you?
Hey, I'm all right, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. What's on your mind?
I want to talk about the NFL and Bad Bunny. What is the NFL boycott? Like, if this was a Christian group that the NFL had scheduled, the Democrats would be up in arms and they would be boycotting the NFL. They'd be doing a Bud Light to the NFL. But the Republicans don't do anything as a group except Bud Light. They did as a group.
Yeah. I think there's truth to that. But here's what's happening. Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA is going to have an alternative halftime event, probably Christian-themed, I would guess, with other performers. We'll see what happens. So that's a protest of sorts, because if the NFL doesn't get the ratings, the people that are paying them, it's all tiered. If they don't get the number of eyeballs they're supposed to have, well, then they don't get the money they're supposed to have, Randy. We'll see what happens. Make sure you watch Turning Point USA. Support them. Leo in California is next. Leo, how are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Steve. I would like to tell the Democrats they can have their democracy. Their democracy sucks.
You know, you wonder, I appreciate the call. They can have their democracy. We live in a representative republic, a constitutional republic, if you will. Appreciate that. Let's get to Paul in Alabama. Paul, what's on your mind? Make it quick. Paul, are you there?
Yes. Good morning, Steve. How you doing?
I'm good. We only got about 30 seconds, young man. You got to go.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing you, but I just want to let you know, if you can hear me, that you and Ivy are the ultimate power couple. And I love what you do. I watch you every day. If I can't watch you, I record you.
God bless you.
I just want you to know that you're a great patriot, and I love you.
That's the best call we've gotten today. Paul from Alabama, thank you very much. Free speech, free for all Friday. I'll be right back. Day 17 now of the shutdown. The Democrats voting 10 times in the United States Senate now to not open the government. People like Alyssa Slotkin saying we must debate health care. Well, the health care debate can happen between now and the end of the year, maybe longer. It's my understanding the Republicans had already offered a 1-year extension on subsidies to find a path forward to get this figured out. Democrats not having it because Chuck Schumer's afraid he's going to lose his job to AOC. Join me now, Tim Walberg. He represents Michigan 5 here in the congressional district. Congressman, welcome back to the program. Did we got him? I didn't hear him. But anyhow, so here we go. Look, the shutdown, 17 days, Democrats trying to negotiate something where there's nothing to negotiate because the Republicans and Mike Johnson didn't put anything on it. It's a clean CR, of which the Democrats voted 13 times during the Biden administration. What seems to be the holdup?
Yeah, and one time in March, they voted for it as well, and Chuck Schumer voted for it. Took a lot of heat from the radical fringe. That's well, I guess you can't say fringe anymore. That's a Democrat party.
Yeah, that is.
And then he's got the problem tomorrow that there's this big anti-Make America Great rally, otherwise known as No Kings rally, that's coming to town. And he certainly didn't want them to demonstrate in front of his office for opening up government. I mean, again, this is 13 times that they have voted for the same bill during Biden. One time in March they voted for it. And now, for some reason, it's not the bill that they can support. You just have to question what's behind that they're willing to not fund the military families, not fund the air traffic controllers, not fund TSA agents, and we could go on down the line. And I'll be meeting with people in emergency management in my local communities today. We've met with air traffic controllers. We've met with manufacturers that can't get SBA loans applications filled out because of this unnecessary Schumer Democrat shutdown. And I think Gary Peters and Alyssa Slotkin, our 2 U.S. senators, ought to hear from the people saying it's enough. Enough is enough. Open the
Gary
government.
Peters doesn't care. He's leaving. And Slotkin is the radical left-wing senator we knew she would be. She always claimed to be a moderate. She never was. You know that. She was always far left-wing and always has been and always will be. All right, so enough about that. You know, the shutdown, they're going to do what they do. But there are other important things going on during all of this that I think we need to pay attention to because the president keeps working. Gaza peace has been put together. Eradicating drug runners from South America happening every day now. These are important things. Plus, Trump's going to meet with the dictator Xi Jinping at the end of the month. And now we're told that he's going to meet in Budapest with Putin. I mean, Donald Trump keeps working despite the noise and the nonsense inside the Beltway. And these are important developments. And then talk about President Xi here. For Michigan soybean farmers, we need to find a deal to sell soybeans to China. I think we're probably going to get it. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think we will as well. And I mean, it shows that this president's going to work. And if the Democrats are concerned that he will do things on his own, open up government. I mean, he has told American people, and 77 million people said, yes, we want this type of action from a president. We want to reduce the size, scope, cost of government. And we want to get back control to our own lives in the states and in local communities. He's doing it, and he's showing that he can work on the world stage and bring the world together, leaders who want to stand and have a picture with him at the very least, because he's a leader that they know when he speaks, he means something. So he'll keep working, and the Democrats will complain about it. But frankly, we're ready to negotiate on anything. We're ready to move forward. We're not going to give them everything they want. They need to know that. Elections matter, and the American public gave us the majority in both houses. And now Chuck Schumer, of course, is using the 60-vote cloture requirement to take hostage the will of the people. And Trump's going to keep going. And as far as I'm concerned, what he's done to the Department of Education, great, keep at it. You can't fully abolish it without the support of Congress, but you can sure diminish it. And you know what? All of the schools in Michigan have continued on without the Department of Education fully functioning.
Yeah, and NPR and PBS seem to be up and running without funding from you and I, the taxpayer, too. It's remarkable, isn't it, Congressman? I mean, it's going to be the end of this and that. No, it's not. Stop it. They continue to waste money, and it's remarkable. What about paying the military and some of these other things? I know that they're working hard to find creative workarounds. What can you tell us? Any update?
Well, it will be slowed. Probably didn't receive their checks yesterday when they were supposed to receive them, but they will receive them sooner than had the shutdown kept them from getting the funds. Trump found a way to do it, and it basically came from the immense amount of tariff dollars that have been coming in. He said, I'm not going to let the Democrats keep military families, many of whom are able to get on Medicaid because of the lack of funds that they have and what they're working for. So he's found a way to do that. I think he'll also find a way to keep a WIC program going. So women, infant, children, and the nutrition stuff that's in that will continue for the time being. And I believe he'll also find a way using those tariff dollars to make sure that air traffic controllers are paid as well.
Yeah, and what about TSA? TSA is also on that list, not just the air traffic controllers, it's the security teams at the airports.
That's true. And it will only be for a short time, maybe one check. But hopefully, the American people will speak out to the Democrat leadership and our own U.S. senators and say, enough already. Get back. You can negotiate all you want when the government is open.
Exactly. I agree with that. 13 CRs during Biden's administration, as you pointed out, another one in March. That's 14 times the Democrats have stood up. And this time they've voted 10 times not to reopen the government while trying to blame Donald Trump and you and the Republicans. It's just not. And then I saw the mob that went up to the Speaker's office, tussling with Capitol Police and so forth. Who are these people?
It's a clown show. You think of the dignity of the U.S. Congress in the Constitution, and you see this type of thing try to take hostage the Speaker's lobby. They didn't even check to find out that he wasn't there. He was out doing something important, and they are. I think they're establishing the fact that they are not prepared to govern, and that's why they're not in the majority.
Yeah,
and we're going to keep on doing what we need to do.
Well, and the other thing is, if this Supreme Court case goes away, I think it's going to with Louisiana and race-based gerrymandering, the Republicans will pick up 12 seats on that alone, plus the 5 in Texas, plus 1 in Indiana, maybe a couple in North Carolina, maybe more in Missouri. Careful what you wish for, Democrats, because you might just get a 20-seat bump for the Republicans along the way. I'll give you the last word.
Well, the next thing, Steve, they're going to do, and you're probably aware of it, is the rank voting. You need to start talking about that.
Yeah, ranked choice voting is a terrible thing. It's been a terrible failure. It allows candidates to win that would never otherwise win, correct?
It allows Democrats to win that they can't win, and we've seen that take place. The Michigan Clerks Association did something they normally don't do. They came out and said something about a petition drive that's going on, and they said this will not work. This will not provide security or help the American public in the voting process.
Absolutely will not. Absolutely true. Tim Wahlberg, greatly appreciate you, sir. As always, enjoy a great Michigan weekend. Looks like a good one.
You as well. Pure Michigan.
Pure Michigan. I'm still nursing that. I was out with Anthony yesterday doing some work out in the field. Bam, I got nailed. I got stung on the side of my neck. It's a big old lump there. Yeah. Anthony did not protect me in my moment of need. It's weird. When we come back, I'm going to tell you how to save a pile of money on your utilities with a patented product that is remarkable. If you use propane or heating oil, you want to save money, pay attention, stick around. Let's get back into it now. Look, if you're like most people, if you're like me, you have a tendency to put things off until it's a problem, right? You don't think about fixing something or looking down the road unless something goes haywire, blows up in your face. Certainly true with your furnace, with your air conditioning. Until it breaks, do you really think about it? And usually, when's it going to break? It's going to break on a weekend. It's going to break on the hottest day or the coldest day. And then what? The HVAC people come out. They charge you extra money for emergency runs and getting things done because all of a sudden it's a crisis. Well, what if you didn't do that? What if you planned ahead? If you're one of the folks that lives out in the country, you're probably like me. You plan ahead more than a lot of folks. Joining me now is Tim Schultz from WellConnect Geothermal. Tim, good to have you here on the program. I think it's a common problem. People will put things off. But with your system, you can take an ordinary furnace and air conditioner, not replace them, but put your geothermal system on. If you have a well in your yard, folks, this is a geothermal system you can afford, and you're planning ahead because it will extend the life of your furnace, extend the life of your air conditioner, and save you a ton of money. Tim, thank you for being here. Am I on the right track?
You're on the right track, absolutely. Again, most people wait till it breaks, as you said, and they call their local contractor. They probably put in a new version of what they already had, not really improving their situation, but even though they have heating and cooling. So we're saying, look, let's think ahead. While your system's currently operating just fine, it's expensive. You're having to heat with propane, fuel oil, or electric. And if you simply look at taking our approach, hybrid approach, it's really a dual fuel system. You add this while your current system's working just fine, and you've cut your heating and cooling costs in half, basically. And you've now going to get unlimited life out of your existing system. So with the incentives that are there now, that cost to do it is really going to be more than covered by the savings.
And that's really important. Look, if you put a system in and you finance it, the savings that you realize in that first month will be more than your payment. This is pretty simple math, folks. Do you want to save money? Extend the life of your furnace, extend the life of your air conditioner, and by the way, use the well in your yard as free energy. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, and again, using wells for geothermal has been around for many, many decades. The old approach, though, required a high volume of water per minute. Ours has cut that down by 75% on average. So we're keeping the furnace there for the coldest days. Even though our system runs on the coldest days, we just need a little bit of help, and that way we can really minimize the water flow rate required. And there's 13 million wells roughly in the country. They can all be clean energy sources for these rural homeowners who are don't have access to natural gas.
Right, and what you're saying is people that are in the country pay more because they're using propane or heating oil or electric, which is, wow, I'd hate to be paying an electric bill right now. If I had a well in the yard, that'd be kind of a crazy thing to do. Another thing I want to mention is there are subsidies available for these systems right now, but a lot of them, if not all of them, running out by the end of the year. So if you want to consider a system, it's getting cold now. Now's the time to think about it while you still have a chance for the government to kick in a little to help you out, right?
No question. It's 30% tax credit does expire at the end of the year. But we really designed this to be our starting cost on this is typically less than the net price of conventional systems. So we really didn't design this to require all these rebates and incentives, but they're here. Take advantage of it. Things keep evolving. But really, if you look at a conventional furnace and air conditioner, and you look at a WellConnect, before incentives, we're really about on par with each other. And the air source systems, mini splits you hear about, or air source heat pumps, central units, again, similar starting price for all these systems, but geothermal is always going to win on the efficiency side. And again, back to the air source, they can now operate in very cold conditions.
Yeah.
So the capacity is there, but the efficiency plummets.
Yeah.
And with ground source geo, you're always getting the most, everyone recognizes it's the best technology. We've just taken this hybrid approach to make it affordable.
And something else I want to mention about this. This was invented by your father, patented by your father. It's an American product from an American company doing something nobody else is doing. Putting this state-of-the-art heat pump in, which runs, like you said, up until the very coldest day, at which point your furnace might kick in to help make the house a little bit warmer. but it only turns on then your furnace because this thing keeps the house warm the rest of the time. So it's only the coldest days that you're really running your furnace, which means, well, as you put it, you basically take a car getting 15 miles a gallon. Now it's getting 45 miles a gallon. You take a car that'll get 200,000 miles. Well, now get 500,000 miles because you're not running it. So it lasts longer. Your entire HVAC system lasts longer, which is pretty key too, right?
And I want to just clarify too, when we say hybrid, we need help from the fossil fuel system. Our patented approach is unique. It's simultaneous operation. We're not shutting off the geo when it's really cold. We're still running. So that gives us a lot more cheap BTUs and heat into the home than other systems that are called dual fuel. They're either or. We're running simultaneous. So that's what's really unique about our system.
Yeah, your system.
And again, because it's an add-on, most of these are typically done in one day.
Right. So when you look at cold states, Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, these are all states where you should be prevalent. In the Northeast, this is where it gets cold and it snows and it gets ugly and it's almost here. I mean, the leaves are changing. It's getting cold out here. I strongly recommend folks you take a look at wellconnectgeo.com. Like we said, the subsidies are there now, but they're going to go away. If you want to save even more money, now is a very good time. But with or without, you're going to save money because you're not burning the propane. You're not using the electricity. Your system is kicking in and saving you a pile of money. Tim, I really appreciate you being here. For anybody who has a well in their yard or uses those heat sources, now is the time. WellConnectGeo.com. You can find out more. WellConnectGeo.com. Get a hold of Tim. He'll say, yeah, your house is a good match, or it's not, but he'll let you know. And by the way, you're also looking for new companies and new contractors, right?
That's right. Yes, we're really trying to build out the network beyond where we are now. We're predominantly focused on the Midwest and Northeast, as you say, the climates. But
and one last thing. One last thing. If you're a do-it-yourself person, you can do that too. I got to leave it there. But if you're a do-it-yourself person, it takes about a day. If you're handy, you can probably get this done. Tim Schultz from WellConnect. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
WellConnectGeo.com. Go check this out. You're going to save a ton of money. WellConnectGeo.com. I'll be right back. All right, let's check in on Brock Palmbush in sports.
With a look at sports, I'm Brock Palmbush. Evan McPherson's 36-yard field goal with 7 seconds left gave the Cincinnati Bengals a 33-31 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers last night in Cincinnati. Bengals quarterback Joe Flacco, in his first game in uniform, threw for 342 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Bengals break a 4-game losing streak with the win. They're 3-4 on the year. The Steelers dropped to 4-2 with the loss. The American League Championship Series is all even at 2 games apiece. The Toronto Blue Jays routed the Seattle Mariners 8-2 last night. In Game 4 in Seattle, Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Andre Jimenez homered for the Jays. Game 5 tonight in Seattle. The Los Angeles Dodgers are 1 win away from the National League pennant as they got past the Milwaukee Brewers 3-1 last night in Game 3 of the National League Championship Series in L.A. 5 Dodgers pitchers combined on a 4-hitter. Dodgers lead the series 3-0. Game 4 tonight at Dodger Stadium. That's a look at sports. Back to you, Steve.
Looks like the Dodgers are going on, right?
You could say that Shohei Ohtani's going to pitch tonight for the Dodgers, however long he goes.
What is that? Yeah. Well, he's got 100 pitches. We got to pull him.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Roberts is one of those analytics managers, too. Although he let Yamamoto throw 117 in a complete game, or 111 in a complete game the other night.
So what's the cutoff?
It varies. It's just these analytics, sabermetrics managers, they just freak out because they don't want their pitchers to get hurt. But if you look at the injured lists of all these teams, pitchers are still getting hurt the way they're doing it now. So
right, it doesn't matter. All right, Brock, thank you for that. Listen, brand new flannels are in stock now at Muskox. It's not a shirt, it's a way of life. It's an attitude. That's what Muskox is. It's Muskox season, my friends. Best flannel shirts you're ever going to own. Best there is, period, bar none. Everybody here wears them. We've been working with Muskox for, 5 years now. New heavyweight flannels for fall at Muskox, the leader of heavyweight flannels, rated best flannel by Gear Junkie since 2003. Made with the softest, double-brushed, 100% cotton. It's an American company based in Detroit. Support the home team. Muskox also gives money every time you buy a shirt, $5 to wildlife conservation. You want to save $15 on a Muskox today? Visit gomuskox.com/Gruber. Gomuskox.com/Gruber. Promo code Gruber will save you $15. You're going to be thanking me as the weather gets chillier. Warm up with Muskox. Gomuskox.com. Promo code Gruber. I'll be right back with another great hour of Free Speech Free for All Friday. There's always something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent. Come on, man. We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
Well, it sure is, and glad to have you on board for a free speech, free for all Friday, powered by Patriot Mobile, the Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966. Three big things you need to know this hour as we fight for you from the foxhole of freedom. Number one, 3 folks are dead in a small plane crash in Clinton County in Bath Township. We'll tell you about that. Number 2, we've got a video of a gunman lying in wait to try to kill a businessman at his home in Macomb County. Crazy video. And number 3, state county clerks oppose ranked choice voting. It's a rare move, but the Michigan Association of County Clerks released a rare opinion on a ballot proposal earlier this week. They voted unanimously to oppose a ranked choice voting ballot initiative because it's crazy. Ranked choice voting allows people that would never otherwise win the ability to get into office. It is nutty. All right, it's free speech, free for all Friday. Yeah, when the county clerks say no, that's where we are. Anthony, did you have something for me you wanted to share? Or do you want to wait on that?
Yeah, I got a bite. I'll play it right now.
All right, let's have it.
White people that aren't like serial killers like Ted Bundy.
Does your mom say you have to be LGBT? No, I think she's what I want to be, but
Go ahead, Lex. Go ahead. Keep talking. Say what you're saying.
My mom doesn't matter if I am gay or lesbian or any of that. She doesn't care. All she cares about is that I'm a part of it. And if I'm not a part of it, she'll try to convince me to join it. Cause
What are you saying right now?
Facts.
That I would convince you to join what?
The LGBTQIA plus community.
So I'm confused by the video, Anthony. So the mom's trying to convince her kids to join LGBTQRXWYZ plus?
Yes. So this kid pretty much aired her out on stream saying that she would basically like force him to be a part, even if he wasn't a gay or lesbian. She's gonna try to make him be a part of that stuff, and she was getting all defensive, like, what?
So
even though obviously
how old are those kids? Six?
Maybe 8 or to
6
10.
or 8?
Yeah,
whatever. That's child abuse.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hoping to raise a family someday, right? Why would you even discuss with kids that are 6 or 8 years old LGBT anything?
Yeah.
Anything. Why would you do that?
And what reason would this kid have to be like, my mom would push me to be a part of it if that wasn't true? Right.
And again, does the kid even understand what he's talking about?
Yeah.
No.
All he knows is that his mom is pushing him to.
That's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yeah. What do you think, Anthony?
I will keep my children very far away from that when I have kids.
Yeah, exactly. You might even consider homeschooling. We do. Yeah. I mean, if we had an option, where we live, we don't really have an option. We had private school for a Catholic school through the first few grades, but it doesn't go all the way through. And we're not even Catholic. Just felt it was a better option than the public schools. And now, you're in the public schools, and we have to guard our 8th grader daily because what kind of filth is being done. In fact, there's a book. We've got to look at it. I can't even talk about it on the air, what this book is talking about, because it's sexual in nature. For 8th grade, I'm sorry, you don't need that. And it involves, believe it or not, animals. This is appropriate reading for 8th graders? I don't think so. Anyhow, the dumbest thing I've heard all week, I've got a couple of contestants here. Dumbest thing I've heard all week. And I know that, the first one's just kind of fun. Go ahead and roll it.
Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions.
We have questions, Nancy.
Refuse the National
Here it is
Guard
again.
On January 6th.
Shut up.
Shut up.
I did not refuse the National Guard.
Crazy
The president
old bat.
didn't
All right,
send
enough.
it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking
Nancy was
points?
why are you coming here with Republican talking? Shut up. Oh, please. Not handled particularly well by by Nancy
You
there.
could tell, it looked like Nancy really wanted to hit her.
Yeah.
The way she gets her hands so close. It just,
Right, but the problem with Nancy is she's being held up by the two people on either side of her. She can't walk under her own power. By the way, speaking of that, can't walk under your own power. Mitch McConnell took a freaking dive yesterday, just walking down the hall on video, talking to a reporter. Look, term limits might not be a bad idea if you're 116 years old, Nancy, Mitch. I mean, at least Mitch has announced his retirement. Nancy, they'll prop her up for as long as they can. Sad. It's a sad state of affairs. Another one of the dumbest things I heard all week, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson saying that black people are basically disabled. And so when you require, ID to vote, it's just a terrible thing because they're disabled. I mean, I can't even fathom the things that come out of this woman's mouth. But here it is, dumbest thing I've heard all week. Here's another sample.
I guess I'm thinking of the fact that remedial action, absent discriminatory intent, is really not a new idea in the civil rights laws. And my kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory in effect because these folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system. Right?
What do you mean they don't have equal access?
In fact,
What is she
we use
talking?
the word
She's babbling.
disable in Milligan. We say that's a
Oh, good
way in
Lord.
which you see that these processes are not equally open.
They're not? They're so this idea, it's insulting. It's insulting. Black people, you're disabled. You can't actually, you're not actually smart enough to go get a driver's license. Please. How demeaning that she would say such horrible things. Horrible things. Oh, you're just not smart enough. Really? Can you operate a cell phone? Can you drive a motor vehicle? No, they're disabled. They're just not up to the task. Please. Stop telling sections and sectors of our population you're just not up to the task. I'm sorry, you're just not capable. Stop it. They're not victims. They're Americans. They need an ID to buy a lottery ticket or to buy a beer or to buy cigarettes or whatever. Just stop it. It's just, I find it insulting. Dumbest thing I've heard all week. I think I'm going to have to give it to Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Dumbest thing all week. I'll see what Ivy says about it later when she joins me, but there you go. I'll take a break and be right back. It's Free for All, Free Speech Friday. All right, back to it now. I bring in the best looking, most accomplished, most talented lawyer in the history of lawyers in the history of the world. It's Steve Doolin, everybody. I mean, he is a remarkable human being with intellect beyond known comprehension. Doolin, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Gruber. It's hard to take you seriously after that, but okay.
What are you talking about? I mean, you are the professor. Anyhow, let's talk serious stuff here. Let's talk about this series of comments from Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, basically saying black people are disabled. They can't possibly be asked to give an ID to vote. Of course, they give ID to drive a car, to do anything adults like to do, drink adult beverages, buy a lottery ticket, whatever it might be, you need ID, right? Get a pack of cigarettes. If people still do that, I guess they do. It's just dumbfounding. Or maybe she's just dumb. Thoughts?
Well, clearly this is a strain that runs through the Democratic Party. I mean, this comment calling people who are black disabled runs right along with a lot of Joe Biden's comments, a lot of other comments that we hear from the left. It's offensive and insulting. I mean, personally, I would love for an entire Supreme Court made up of 8 more Clarence Thomases. So I certainly don't share her view on people with a certain melanin content being disabled as such. I don't think it's helpful. I think it's the opposite of the American ideal of everyone is equal before the law. That is what Frederick Douglass was writing about and speaking about when he was here, and he left behind some great writings. It's just nonsensical is the best way I can describe it.
Moronic. I think moronic is another way to describe it. I mean, seriously. All right, so here's the thing. Several states, this is a Louisiana case, by the way. Louisiana pushing back against congressional districts being gerrymandered based on race and race alone. So here's the thing. Apparently, we gerrymander based on black districts, right? It happened in Alabama last year where another district was added so they would have a black majority district. Same thing in Louisiana. Same thing in a dozen districts across this country. But black voters are the second largest minority. Why not Hispanic majority districts? Why don't we have those? And who's fighting for that? Well, I'm a little confused.
Well, I don't think it holds up to equal protection before the law. I don't think it's going to last. I think the Supreme Court will probably take this opportunity to do away with it as unconstitutional. The whole idea here in America, based on what the founders' vision was and what the trend has been ever since, especially post-Civil War, with 13th Amendment, et cetera, which ended involuntary servitude, and the 14th Amendment that has an equal protection clause of its own. The trend has been that we are all treated equally before the law, and we don't look at immutable characteristics. That's the phrase we use in law is immutable characteristics. So we don't judge each other based on race, color, creed, national origin, height, weight, physical handicap, marital status is probably the most recently added one, if I recall correctly. So these characteristics that we can't do anything about, that we were born with, are not
immutable characteristics. So here's I'm going to go to a couple of other Supreme Court decisions in recent years. You cannot choose college kids, right, based on the color of their skin. So I don't see how it would hold here.
Right, and it shouldn't. It's not supposed to. We, as a society, have moved past that. Hopefully, at some point we have to, and the folks who are clinging to this are perpetuating it and judging one another based on our skin color, our other immutable characteristics, things that we can't change about ourselves, are clinging to the past and maybe trying to push us backwards in terms of the evolution of our understanding of how a society is supposed to be.
Yeah. Look, I'm tired of all of this. The Civil Rights Act of 1965 was clear. You can't use race. You can't. You can't use it one way. You can't use it the other way. So, Ketanji, I feel, but this is the second hearing of this case. That's the thing that confuses me, right? They heard it in March, and now they had a re-argument now. So does that give you any tea leaves to follow?
Well, I got to be honest, I haven't read anything about the specifics of this case. And so I don't know how we ended up back here. It would take a minute to see what happened previously in terms of the procedural aspect of the case. I can speak to the philosophy underlying, but in terms of the nuts and bolts of what happened, it's not my case. I wasn't involved. I honestly don't know how we ended up back here again.
Yeah, it's not normal, but we'll see. I think I have faith in this Supreme Court to do what is constitutional, is what I feel. We can do what's constitutional. Anyhow, Doolin, I have to run. There he is, everybody, the greatest lawyer in the history of lawyers, Steve Doolin, the professor. God bless you, Doolin.
Thanks, Gruber. I see my mom's checks are still clearing.
Yes, they are. God bless her. All right, thank you very much. I just don't see how the Supreme Court goes any other direction on this. All right? I'll be right back. All right. So the Michigan Association of County Clerks, this is an important story. The Michigan Association of County Clerks released a very rare opinion earlier this week, in case you missed it. The association voted unanimously Tuesday this week to oppose ranked choice voting in this ballot initiative during their meeting, citing concerns with voter confusion, delays about results, complexity of recount votes, and all the nonsense. It's designed to create confusion and get candidates that do not have the majority support elected. That's all this is about. The ballot initiative, which is currently being pushed by the organization Rank Michigan Vote, would change the state constitution, allow voters to rank their choices for political office rather than just choose one. Rank Michigan Vote needs to collect 446,000 signatures to qualify for the November 26th ballot. They're on the clock. During a virtual meeting, Michigan's county clerks met to share statements about the initiative. According to Kent County Clerk Lisa Posmus-Lyons, the constitutional amendment would create undue challenges with voting and election integrity. Michigan voters are used to knowing who won an election in a timely manner, so it's incredibly important that we're able to report accurate, unofficial results on election night, she said. Determining a winner will take drastically longer under ranked choice voting. Delayed results erode the public trust by fueling uncertainty and misinformation. You've got that right. It's a terrible proposal, a terrible idea. We should all oppose it, and that's the way that is. All right? That's the way. I appreciate this association of county clerks saying no. This is wrong, because it is wrong. If you love coffee as much as I do, my friends, try 1775 coffee. You'll be glad you did. It is the best coffee we've had around here ever. All right? It's the best you can get. Coffee from 1775, single source from South America, high-altitude Bolivian beans, hand-picked at peak ripeness. These are great cups of coffee. It's bold, it's smooth, and it's woke-free. That's right, 1775 coffee. You'll be glad you tried it. Go to 1775 Coffee. Use the promo code Gruber. You'll save some money on it as well, and you'll be able to get jacked up on coffee like I do every day. There you go, 1775 Coffee. I'll be back. Ivy's not too far away. Don't worry, she's coming, folks. One of the nice things about having done this program for 14 years now is the relationships you build, important relationships. And you get to know people and you get to appreciate people. One of those people is the next guest, Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne of Texas. She's up early today to talk to you and me, and I appreciate it. Congresswoman, thank you for being here.
It's great to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, you said it's going to be 87 degrees in Texas today. Not here, yes. I can assure you.
You were
Yeah.
saying it's cold this morning, huh?
Yeah, we haven't had a killer frost yet, but we're right on the edge of it now. Southern Michigan, the leaves are turning. It's a beautiful time of the year, but it is cool, 32 degrees. Gets chilly. Anyhow, chilly might describe the conversation between Democrats and Republicans in Washington right now. Look, the Democrats have now voted 10 times to not open the government. They did it 13 times with clean resolutions during the Biden administration. They did it again in March 14 times. And yet somehow now they're refusing to have a conversation because they're demanding that the subsidies for Obamacare, which is an abject failure, it always was intended that way. Here we are with a failure of Obamacare. They're demanding results right now. They're holding the country hostage, in my estimation. What do you think?
No, I would agree with you 100%. I mean, and these are the same Democrats who voted for these deadlines, who voted for these expiration dates for these subsidies. And let's face it, what have the subsidies yielded for people who are paying for health insurance? They've had their premiums increased by 86%. People are paying more and they're getting less quality, less access, just more cost. But who is profiting? Health insurance companies by
That's
the
right.
tune of 230%, all while denying a third of all claims. So the idea that Democrats are somehow helping people with health care is absolutely not right. Basically, what Democrats are doing is saying, we want more government subsidies to go directly to insurance companies. Let's open up the government. We can negotiate it. But what they are forcing upon, the Republicans in the Senate to open it is they want to have an additional, and get this,
Sure.
it's 6 week stopgap. They
So
want
I-
to add an additional $1.5 trillion to spend.
Right. So here's the thing. The notion that somehow these programs are immune to fraud and that there are no illegals taking advantage of these programs, that is ridiculous. Look, we did a story here yesterday. A police officer was arrested in suburban Chicago. Why? He's an illegal alien, serving as a police officer with a gun and a badge in the state of Illinois. So if somebody can get that far, I mean, it's completely illegal for an illegal alien to have a firearm. I mean, it's a felony. So here's a guy serving as a police officer committing felonies every time he goes to work. The idea that we're not being subjected to fraud by illegal aliens, including in healthcare, it's absurd, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and they've admitted this. I mean, you listen to some of Gavin Newsom's interviews, and he readily admits that they are writing checks for healthcare for people who should not be here, or here illegally. And I think most Americans find that disgusting. That's just why they voted for President Trump in November. They want to see a stop to that. The other thing that they're fighting against is, the work requirement for Medicaid, saying that people who are getting that benefit, who are getting taxpayer funded dollars, for that benefit, need to do something for 20 hours a week. They either need to go to training, they need to volunteer, they need to look for a job, or they need to work 20 hours a week. It's not that much that they're asking for able-bodied Americans to go and get a job. This is something that the Democrats are fighting against, and I think they're just trying to find their way. Whether or not it's defending folks who are illegally here, defending folks who would rather sit on a couch than just go and volunteer, defending criminals. This is where Democrats have come to. And, you look at the shutdown, and ultimately, why are we in this shutdown? Because Schumer does not have the backbone,
That's
does
right.
not have the guts to be able to fight against his own socialist, Marxist, far left, popular Democrats like the AOCs and the Bernie Sanders, who really had a cringe fest the other night. I don't know if you watched
Yeah,
it, but
I'm-
oh man, was that just not, ugh.
Yeah, it was a ratings failure, by the way. I can't imagine why nobody wanted to watch that mess on Chicken Noodle News, but they didn't. As we look at other things going on, though, I mean, big things are still happening. Donald Trump working, we talked about this just before you came on. 79 years old, working, burning the candle at both ends, getting things done, whether it's peace in Gaza. He's setting up a meeting with Xi Jinping at the end of the month. He just announced yesterday he's going to meet with Vladimir Putin. So despite the Democrats and their only position is we hate Trump, right? That's all they've got. It's not working. Donald Trump's still working every day, isn't he?
Well, to your point, this is something that they have voted for 13 times when Biden was president, this continuing resolution. Why now all of a sudden? Because it's Trump. And Trump is not allowing this to slow him down at all. I love people on my social media feeds who are like, oh, he's on the golf course. Have you seen the deals that he has been able to force through? trade deals, peace deals. Look who he just got out of a captivity in Gaza and brought back all of those Israeli hostages. This is a man who was working nonstop. He also has an administration right now during this shutdown working to make sure that our military is getting paid, working to make sure that the most vulnerable in our society, under who have WIC benefits, that those are still being funded. They are trying to turn over every single stone of dollars to make sure that those who most need it are getting it. Not getting any credit for it, by the way, by the mainstream media.
No, of
but
course
he's
not.
actually doing the work. He's actually doing the work. And like, I would love to be able to get back to work. I think our Democrats who are continuing to vote to shut down the government, keep the government shut down, have a problem. But the others of us who right now would love to be able to pass, a lot of the legislation that we've got in there, would love to be able to debate it, who are being, forced not to do that because we don't have our government open right now, are back in our districts and we are working. We're back in our districts. I'm making calls and calls, which we normally don't have time for, to try to get support for some of these bills, or meeting with our constituents, or seeing how it's hurting people firsthand. We're not going to stop working for the American people, for those people who, need it the most. But Democrats, get your ass back to work.
That pretty much covers it right there now, doesn't it? I want to ask about one other thing. We only got a couple of minutes here, but I want to ask you about one other thing. Democrats going crazy. John Bolton, 18 counts of violating the Espionage Act for disseminating information to, I believe, his wife and daughter, texting classified information, keeping more than 1,000 pages of documents he was not entitled to have for his own personal gain, to use for his own books, and apparently to share with others. This is a very serious thing. 26-page indictment, 18 counts on the Espionage Act. This is not retribution. This is holding people accountable for putting our national security at risk. Yes or no?
Absolutely. And you think about who should know better. Absolutely, Bolton should know better. While the hypocrisy of holding others accountable for your sins is popular in Democrats, Bolton should know better. And I think you got to hold accountability. This man had way too much access to way too many, really, really sensitive documents that this has been allowed to exist and happen for a number of years. And why is he doing it? I don't know. But you have to hold accountability. And again, nobody is above the law.
I agree with that. Isn't that what the Democrats say? Nobody is above the law, so let's hold these people accountable. And I think John Bolton is in some real jeopardy here. 18 counts, like I said. Beth, I always appreciate you being here. Thank you for taking the time.
It's great to be with you, and I hope you have a great weekend. Keep doing
You
what
too.
you do.
Enjoy
I
Texas.
Really appreciate it.
87 degrees, tanning weather in Texas today. Anyhow, thank you very much. All right, there you have it. Like I say, the relationships you build. You can have great conversations, get some insight. By the way, I'm soon going to have my hard pass to Capitol Hill and the Pentagon. So I'm going to be traveling to Washington a bit more, talking to people like Congresswoman Van Dyne when I can, and keeping you as the best informed audience in media today. Radio, television, streaming, podcast, all of it. And the real spark plug to all of it, Ivy. She's up next. I'll be right back. All right, back to it now as we round out this free speech free-for-all Friday. The best guest every single day. Yeah, there she is, everybody. Look at that big smiling face. Yeah, there she is. Ivy, good morning.
Good morning.
So I had a couple of things of the dumbest thing I heard all week.
Oh, good. I was just thinking about that.
I'm just going to play. I'm going to play the short one. The other one we can talk about. But here's the short one. Roll it, Anthony.
Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up.
Shut up.
I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have a question.
You love her, don't you?
You know, she actually did say that in the documentary that her daughter was making.
I know.
And it is out there for everyone to see if you don't believe that she actually said that. In the fact that Donald Trump, the president of the time, did not send.
He asked for them.
Yeah, he had them available. They said that we don't need them.
Yeah.
So with all the evidence coming out now about the FBI's
274 members of the FBI on scene, J6, embedded in the crowd, doing
and causing unrest and like ginning up, let's go storm the Capitol, and people were like,
and people are saying, so the left
we're not
is saying,
going to do that.
Right,
we're
so
actually going to go over here. And so they just needed a few participants.
They did, but the left is saying, well, that was Donald Trump's FBI. No, that was Christopher Wray's FBI, another individual who we found was not serving the public good, but serving the political agenda opposing Donald Trump. So it's all part of the same dirty soup.
Oh, goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, isn't she, I don't understand that. This is an argument for term limits. I mean, I understand.
Well,
if you have somebody like Chuck Grassley who does an incredible job, I wouldn't want term limits for him. But for her, my goodness.
If you missed it yesterday, Mitch McConnell took a hard tumble walking down the hall. I mean, they had to help him back to his feet. He just looks terrible.
Yeah.
She's 80, whatever she is, and she turned around and say, "Shut up." But she almost fell because if you look at the video, she's got people walking her on both sides, so she doesn't
hardly walk.
Face plant. It's ridiculous.
I just don't see how you can be an effective legislator. But again, I do go back to Chuck Grassley, who's probably in the same kind of condition. He's just not very mobile, but he does have an incredible mind. And so in this case, she just, in terms of, not doing valuable work in Congress, I mean, I don't understand why they keep electing her. But anyhow, what else do you have for your dumbest thing you've heard all week?
Well, the dumbest thing, can you advance into this about 30 seconds? I'll take number 2 here, Anthony, but I don't want to hear the whole first part. Just get me to the back end of this part with Ketanji Brown Jackson basically saying black people are disabled. That's why we can't have ID to vote. Roll it if you can advance it.
Yes.
I guess I'm thinking of it. Folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities.
So here's what she's saying,
readily
Ivy.
possible.
Here's what she's saying. She's saying that the Americans with Disabilities Act is the same thing as asking black voters to provide ID to vote. It's.
Well, there was another bite that you played the other day, essentially with her saying that, that being black is essentially, being disabled.
Right. That's this bite. That's what she's saying. Yeah, exactly. Americans with Disabilities Act is the same.
How disrespectful to black people. I mean, just because you are a certain color of skin does not make you disabled in any way.
We have black members of our family, right?
Right.
Many.
Yeah.
Do you think they can get a driver's license? I mean, they do. They actually got them at 16.
Yeah.
Gosh, they got 15 for their.
They definitely know how to use a cell phone.
Yeah, they know how to use a cell phone. They're in college, but
Right.
somehow they're disabled because
I just don't think
I
that
find it
this-
offensive. I do. I find it offensive for my family members that you would say about my family, well, they're disabled. They're not smart enough to have an ID.
Right. And there's nothing, no one in this country has any limitations other than the limitations that you set on yourself. And
Bingo.
And quite frankly, I mean, we had a black president.
The majority of Americans.
Right. And we have high officials. We have senators. We have
That's
congressmen. We have, and all around the world, there are, leaders of a different color, race, and creed. And so this argument is just to
It's just
actually
horrible.
suppress and divide us. Suppress and divide us. Because, I've been reading this book, and it essentially says, you can cast away, all of this BS just by standing up and realizing that it's a lot of BS and then coming together. A united America cannot fall.
That's right. A united
And
America
so
cannot be defeated.
the enemies on the left, the enemies in the world,
The
who
enemy,
want to
period.
destroy America, the
Yeah.
enemy, period,
Yeah.
create these divides, this hyphenated America. And if we just say, no, that's
Well.
not true. and I think too that social media and this whole online world that we live in, because I think this online world creates, you don't get out there in the world as much.
That's
And
right.
so when you actually go and you engage with people and talk to people, this is not the case.
Shake their hand?
At all.
Yeah, get to know people. Wow.
Right.
By the way, I'm going to go back to Teddy Roosevelt, whose 167th birthday is coming up on the 27th of October. He'll be 167 years old. He said a hyphenated American is no American at all.
Right.
Either you're an American or you're something else.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that comment. I agree with that sentiment. A hyphenated American, no American at all. I'll give you the last word, Ivy, as always.
Well, thank you, Steve. Be good today and make it a great day, I think. And
have a
let's celebrate the
conversation.
victories of America, and let's celebrate each other, because that's what we should do more.
Very nice. And you know what else you can do today? Tell somebody, anybody, random person, that they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
We don't do that enough in this country. Ivy, love you.
I love you, Steve.
By the way, Ivy, you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So are you.
Well, thank you. Some final thoughts on this Free for All Friday after this. Sorry about that. And let me ask you a question. This is a serious question. It's come up because somebody that Anthony knows is concerned going to Ireland. And there's a rise of Islamist terrorist attacks in Ireland, in the UK, elsewhere. Obviously, you're aware of that. And the question becomes about safety and security. Would you travel to the UK today? I'm asking you as a listener, as a viewer. Would you travel to the UK? Would you travel to Ireland? Where would you go? Where would you not go? Based on concerns for your own personal safety. It's a serious question, so I want you to send emails to stevegruber.com. Go to stevegruber.com, click it on the link, and send me an email. Tell me what your thoughts are about traveling to foreign countries. And which foreign countries would you go to? Which ones would you avoid? Are there parts of the United States you would avoid because of concerns with rising radicalized followers of Islam? Does terrorism, Islamic terrorism, concern you? And if it does, where would you travel? Where would you not? To protect yourself or your family or your loved ones. It's a serious question here today. And I'll let you weigh in. By the way, a plane crash, Bath Township, Michigan, yesterday, outside of Lansing. The small aircraft crashed about 5 o'clock, Bath Charter Township. 3 people were killed. It was flying from Kalamazoo. Not sure where it was headed. But it was owned by Aerolíneas del Centro. It's a Mexican plane. I'm just trying to find out the information on it. Aerolíneas del Centro. Don't know who they were, what they were. Feel sorry for them. Sorry that happened. Prayers go out to their families. Terrible crash, claiming those 3 lives. But I'm curious of the origin of the plane and what they were doing. Reached just about 15,000 feet and then entered a sudden descent crash within 30 seconds from 15,000 feet. Sounds like a massive catastrophic failure of the machine. There you have it. Fight the good fight. Keep the faith. God bless America. I'm Steve Gruber. This is the Steve Gruber Show. Remember, together, like Ivy just pointed out, together we can save this country. Work harder. Be better. Have a great weekend.